she decided to change into a suit. Us have a purpose. A lot of us don't have the words to articulate it into a commercial proposition. Does that make sense? All of us have a burning desire, but sometimes we don't have the language because your dad was not
internally.
Coaching and the master classes, there's actually an exercise. I hope people bought tickets to my master class and they're not going to say I'm not coming anymore. This is not everything. It's just part of it. Will show up and present these 3 adjectives. Whether I'm on...
Sure.
And when you realized, I absorbed this negative thing from my mom, or I absorbed this negative thing from my dad, you didn't say, let me figure out how to change it. You said, I'm going to sit here and blame them for the rest of my life. That was also a decision.
Yeah.
You reveal who you are when you open your mouth. When you speak badly about someone else, you're telling me who you are. I don't have the words. I'm Christian. I don't have the words. I don't have the words that I can give you that can allow you to take ownership when you leave here. Your world is only happening for you. Your misery is only happening for you. Imagine we're all walking around in bubbles. That is what life is. You get to pick who comes into your bubble, and therefore the experience of your bubble. If you're miserable, who's in your bubble? Who are you walking around with? What are the words that you're walking around with? How are you defining yourself? How are you speaking to yourself? That is the God voice in you. That is the creation voice in you. The thing you say is the thing you're creating. Tell me anything that is in your life that is a surprise. Truly. Truly tell me what surprises you about your life that is horrible. The power of personal branding is that it changes your posture into intentionality. That's all it is. And when your posture shifts, your life shifts. That's all I'm saying. Whatever is happening, the only person that can change it is you. And buying this ticket and coming here is part of that. There's a lot of people that are not in this room. You bought the ticket and you came here. And that in itself is a dialogue that you're starting with yourself. I prioritize self-development. Don't take it for granted. No matter how horrible the day was or what you got and didn't get, the dialogue has started. I prioritize self-development. And that's where the journey begins. If I showed you my timeline, how many times I've started and stopped and started and stopped and went up and gone down and failed and cried and sobbed and been depressed, lost things, lost people. But because the narrative is, I prioritize self-development. Even when those things happen, I prioritize self-development. If I lose things, I prioritize self-development.
Sure.
If people leave me, I prioritize self-development. I own myself.
Sure.
So if there's one thing I could leave with you today is, take yourself back from the people that you've given yourself away to. Take yourself back. Ungavumi ngawe. Take yourself back, build yourself, build this business, fail, cry, make it public, make it private, make it hard, but own yourself.
Sure.
You came in alone, you're living alone. Everything in between, you decide how that looks. every single person in this room has a powerful thing that they need to bring into any room that they step into. You can't bring it because you're not even walking with yourself. You left yourself behind. There, your abusive boyfriend is with you there at home. When you walked in here, you were a shell and a shadow of who you are. Because you gave yourself away to someone else. There is nothing that will empower you than understanding that you have the final say. You have the final say. So once again, personal branding is about shifting your posture into ownership. It's self-leadership.
Sure.
That's what it is. You get to lead. And if this thing fails, we go back and reiterate. We go back to the boardroom and we say, how do we do it differently? One last time. As you walk out of this room, the power to shift how your life looks and what your personal brand narrative is starts with you.
Sure.
And it ends with you.
Sure. I'm so emotional because I think what just dawned on me is how personal brand is personal. Like literally, it explains itself. It's personal. It means like the person first, and then we build the brand.
And here's the thing. I heard someone saying your personal brand is not your personality. Guys, stay away from, this gimmicky language that sells things. Interrogate. You're smart.
True.
Don't fall for things that I say. Don't fall for things that people say because they're piecing together a couple of words and then they sound... You know when you have an amazing preacher but they're a pedophile? But they have the language on stage. Interrogate everything. Interrogate everything. Someone was saying your personal brand is not your personality. Yes, this is a strategy. But the power of the strategy is the seed of the strategy. You can absolutely build a separate persona and build a personal brand and a business from that persona and be successful. I don't doubt that. What I'm saying is, where we've seen sustainability is where there's consistency. And the question is, will you consistently show up as this false persona that you've built in order to build a successful brand?
Sure.
I'm giving you the way out that's easy. Just do it from the heart. Just interrogate who you are, what you're passionate about, what you're willing to fight for, what you're willing to stand for. In this season of your life, don't even worry about what it looks like 10 years from now, because I know someone who's already calculating is like, what if I shift along the way? The constant will always be you. The culture of the organization that Johnson & Johnson built 100 years from now, the Hiltons, is still the same. When you meet the Hiltons and you meet the people that were raised in the Johnson & Johnson family, they will tell you, oh, we can see why. We can see how your grandfather, we can see how that generation. If you read, think, and grow rich, you will understand that there is a formula and a science to success. And at the core of it all are the human beings. So if we find the power to interrogate who we are and what we can build, I promise you, we can build it. When I started Agenda Woman, I did not see how it could become a generational business. I still cannot give you that answer on paper. But what is the best thing that I can do is the next step that I can take. And what's the next step that I can do is deciding that this business is going to be sold because I want international revenue and I want international investors and I want access to global support. And who knows, I might get there and think how these people are talking exactly like Nyaki. So I didn't actually need to go that way. But I will not know that until I go there and then I come back.
Sure.
So everything is about the next best thing you can solve. You go for that and you don't remain paralyzed.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much for that. And I think we're going to open up for some questions. But just before we do that, I've got, you've known me long enough to know a lot of things, and I think a lot of women in this room, and I say women because I am one, but I think it's still the same for men, that sometimes we wait for very like pivotal moments in our lives to make the change. Like we wait for the traumatic, hectic, zagagangang that breaks us up and until
I did that as well.
Yeah.
Never again.
You know, until we are awakened to who we are, what our dreams are, what our goals are. It's like something catastrophic has to happen for transformation to take place. And recently in my growth, I'm learning that it doesn't have to be that way. We can learn and we can cultivate a lifestyle that allows that communication with God to know when we can pivot. And I want to find out from you, Nomdani, what are the actual practical, say, day-to-day things that I can wake up and do tomorrow morning that speak to me, number one, being in that silence to be able to hear, shutting down the noise, but just cultivating a life for myself that allows me to get personal with my personal brand?
That's an interesting question. Maybe let me ask myself, what do I do to get there? I think one of the key things that has shaped me is being intentional about the people that I'm speaking to daily. I even catch myself when I've slipped up, you know, when I have people that I'm having conversations that are not empowering with, but also I have friends who I just speak rubbish with for hours. That's also part of who I am, you know. It's not my public-facing brand, but it's part of who I am. It's one of the things that fulfills me, you know, sometimes just going into those spaces where I don't normally go. But I think for me, maybe as I speak, I will remember rituals, but I know that one of the most powerful shifts that have happened in my life have been through books. They've just been through books. Imagine that this entire summit was put in a book. It means that everything that you're experiencing here, you could get in a book. Which means when you interface with the book, interface with it the same way. That it's an entire summit in a bunch of pages. So, if I could tell you a book that you can read that is coming up for me as we speak, it's a book by Ryan Holiday. I love Ryan Holiday because a lot of his writing looks at the history, you know, some of the people, the Stoics, the people that succeeded in the past, what was their way of living, how did they think about life. And one of the books that recently shifted me a lot, and it's because of the season that I'm in, is called Discipline is Destiny. What you do today shapes your destiny, essentially. If you're not disciplined, you're shaping your destiny. If you're disciplined, you're shaping your destiny. So Discipline is Destiny by Ryan Holiday has a series of stories that help you identify in which ways you need to be disciplined and actually what discipline is and how it benefits you. That's one of the books that was powerful. There's something that you were speaking about around awakening. There's a book also by Ryan Holiday that I'm going back to now called The Obstacle is the Way. Right? I want to talk a little bit about that because it does not need to be a catastrophe, but challenges are meant to reveal something in you.
Amen. Sure.
They're not meant to kill you. Can you imagine me taking a gun, a water gun, and shooting at you, and you faint, and you act like you're dead because you're acting? That's how we interface with challenges a lot. It's a water gun. Now you're dead. Am I helping someone? It's a water gun. There's no bullet. The obstacle is meant to reveal a virtue in you. It's here to teach you patience. It's here to reveal your heart posture to you. It's here to teach you discipline. It's here to teach you a lot of the things that you say you want to become. The obstacle is the way. When you say, I want to be disciplined, an obstacle will emerge that will teach you discipline. Then you'll be disciplined. It's a water gun. You're not meant to play dead. It's supposed to open the way to where you say you want to go. So when you think about any challenge in your life right now, ask yourself, how is it challenging you? What is the virtue that it is shaping in you? Is it teaching you patience? Is it teaching you listening skills? These are all skills that you need to succeed in life. The obstacle is the way. So these two books are the ones that show up for me, that have really shaped the way that I show up in the world. I wanted to say follow me on Instagram, but I don't post enough about personal branding. But I will start posting enough about personal branding. But I think for me, more than anything, one of the practices also that has shaped me is journaling, because it's reflective. And when I journal, I talk the truth. My journal even has a passcode because there's a lot of truth in there. Because if you're lying to yourself, I don't even have the words to finish this sentence. You can finish it for yourself.
Yeah.
But I think for me, Michelle, it has always been tuning into the big vision of who I am. Maybe there is something that I recently started adopting. One of my friends is the vice president of MTN Group. And she has built such success that is so practical. Even in the way that she speaks, she's very practical. And we recently had lunch, and the thing for me as a Christian is that the conversation with God is consistent. There's a revelation consistently around what I should be paying attention and where I should be going. And that revelation for me recently has been really, what is the big dream? Because I have been challenged around dreaming big. Someone can look at my life and say, oh my gosh, how do you do it? But my big is not the same as someone else's big. And I know for a fact I've been challenged by big, you know, because I've done a couple of things that I've wanted to do, and the question was, what's next? And I remember in my conversation with Timothy in the virtual IG Live, we were talking about personal branding. And one of the things he said was, he worked with a client whose only goal was to sit on the Olympics board. So everything she did was for that audience and to achieve that goal. Doesn't matter if she likes wearing bikinis. If they don't like bikinis, she's not doing that because her goal is clear, Olympics board. I remember listening to that and thinking, what is my thing? What is that thing for me? You know? And I didn't have it when I was on that call. To just expose to you that even as I speak to you, I'm not perfect. I'm aware. I'm on the journey, but I'm not perfect. I listen to that and I'm like, what is that thing for me? And then I end up having lunch with this friend of mine, and she says to me, one of the things I do when I onboard mentors, the first thing I ask them to do is write down their goals. And then we crystallize them, and maybe we end up with 3. And then I ask them, every single week, read the thing that you wrote. Because life will pull you in so many directions. Pain will pull you in so many directions. Failure will pull you in so many directions. So one of the things I recently did was write down my big goal. That's why I can talk about it now. Maybe someone else can give me $10 million in the room. You never know. But I wrote it down, exactly what I want to achieve with Agenda Woman. I'm still scared to say when I want to achieve it because it feels too big for me. But I know the day is going to come when I'm going to put a timeline on it. But for today, every day when I wake up, I am building a business that I'm going to sell. I know who I want to sell it to. I know which conferences they go to. I know who their friends are. I know what they watch. I know the last business that they bought. I know how much they bought it for. I am asking my friends questions around how do I build a value proposition that is worth $10 million in this market, and I'm doing that every single day. And that is how I keep myself accountable for the goal that I have set for myself. Doesn't matter if my mother likes me or not. Doesn't matter if my boyfriend is cheating or not. I am very clear about what I want to achieve, and I invest myself in that. And that is just one of my goals, and there are multiple others in other parts of my life, because my life is not all work. I work smart, and I live well. So there are other aspects of my life. But in building these businesses that you say you want to build, I want to challenge you once again to clearly define what success looks like for you. Namhlanje. It can change 5 days from now, a month from now, but today, what are you working towards achieving? And be as detailed as you possibly can be, and add a number. Because you guys are afraid of numbers. Add a number. And every morning when you wake up, or every week, make sure you go back to that piece of paper and you read it and remind yourself what you're doing every day.
I think it's safe to say that we actually got a personal branding masterclass. Yeah? So powerful.